song about a lady called Flora MacDonald. Flora MacDonald is the woman who saved Bonnie Prince Charlie's life. If there are any Jacobites in here today, please pick a window because you're leaving now. Most people, I think, by now know my opinion of Bonnie Prince Charlie. The man was a total waste of space, awful human being. He was a man who abused trust and friendship wherever he found it. He was a wife beater and an alcoholic. And in Scotland, of course, we made him a hero because we are essentially an entirely perverse nation. Tell you a little bit about Flora's story. Flora MacDonald. When Charlie was on the run after he'd deserted all the people who'd supported him at the Battle of Culloden, he ended up in the Western Isles, and the English soldiers, and in fact not just the English soldiers, the government soldiers, there were more Scots who fought on the winning side at Culloden than there were on the losing side. This is a fact paper. Flora MacDonald was recruited to try and help Charlie escape the Redcoats, not because she was a Jacobite, she didn't care about politics, she just felt sorry for the guy. So she decided to help by trying to disguise him as her lady's maid. And apparently a fine lady's maid he made as well, because he was 6'6", had flaming red hair and huge feet. But apparently he quite enjoyed this, dressed up as a lady's maid. But then nothing about the British royal family would ever surprise me, you know. Nothing. I played for Prince Charles a couple of nights ago. He's a decent guy, he's alright, you know. I didn't tell him the joke about Camilla. I've told you the joke before. You know the joke about Camilla? Anybody not know it? It's a couple of you. Can you stand here again? It's very simple, right? Charles is driving out of Buckingham Palace in the Rolls Royce, and he takes the bend too fast and he hits one of the Queen's corgi dogs. And the dog is dead, flat, dead. And Charles is sitting there, he's so distraught he starts rubbing the dashboard of the car, and the dashboard genie comes out. And the genie says, "You have a wish, master." And he says, "Look, could you do something about the dog? Mother's going to be furious, I don't know what to do, she'll kill me, you know." So the genie, it is of course a highly working class Scottish genie, and the genie sits there and he goes, it's pretty dead and pretty flat, I don't think there's much I can do, you know. So you still got a wish. So Charles thinks for a minute and then he says, kind of tentatively, he says, could you make Camilla beautiful? And the genie says, "Could I have another look at the dog, please?" You did ask for it, yeah, come on. Anyway, I didn't tell him this joke. I didn't honestly go. But he's a nice guy. The surprising thing about him is how small he is. You know, he's only about 5'2" or 3" or something. And you know, whenever they picture him on the TV, you know, everybody else must be standing there with their knees like that. He always looks bigger than everybody else. Anyway, where were we? Flora MacDonald. Flora managed to get Charles across to the Isle of Skye, which is where all this nonsense called the Skye Boat song came from, you know, speed bunny boat like above the knowing, you know. That image of Scotland that has bedeviled us all and is still bedeviling us today if you look around this field. That all came from that. When they got to the other side, the reality was that Charles gave her a kiss in the cheek, a lock of hair from the royal head, and told her that when his father was on the throne again, they'd make her a countess. And he disappeared. He made it back to France, spent the rest of his life trying to marry money and crawl into a brandy bottle. And she was left to carry the can, which involved being put in the Tower of London. And the government wanted to hang her, but they didn't dare because she was so incredibly popular with the mob in London. She was the 18th century equivalent of a movie star with the English aristocracy coming to take tea with her in her cell, you know, which I think is rather nice. And anyway, they didn't know what to do with her, so in 1747 they just let her go. She went back to Scotland, she married a handsome guy who was useless with money, the weird ladies, there are many of us around. And after 16 years of trying to farm black cattle on the Isle of Skye, they finally gave up and they decided they were going to emigrate. And they went to North Carolina, to the region known as Upper Cape Fear. A town that was then called Campbelltown is now called Fayetteville. I'm sorry, there probably aren't enough syllables in that, but Fayetteville is what it's called. And They thought they were going to a life of peace and plenty. In fact, what they walked into was the American War of Independence, in which the Scots decided to fight with the English, who had thrown most of them out of Scotland, against the Americans. And when my American friends ask me why this should be the case, I say it's very, very simple. Given a choice, the Scots prefer to lose. It's true, you know, you want to talk losers, it's the Scots and Leonard Cohen. That's it. That's the whole deal. Anyway, Flora's husband, a man called Alan MacDonald, and one of her sons went to fight at a battle called Moores Creek Bridge. They were beaten, they were taken prisoner. Long story, but anyway, the upshot of it was that in her mid-50s, Flora MacDonald found herself back on the Isle of Skye, absolutely penniless. When she died, there was a funeral train a mile long behind her coffin, and all for the wrong reasons. All for the fact that she'd saved this idiot's life in 1746. Whereas in fact, what she should be remembered for is being one of the first and finest of Scottish.
We can't hear you, dude.
Buddy Prince Charlie's electrician, go away. I don't care. Your lawyer can fight it out with mine. Okay? But anyway, this song's about a curious non-fact about Flora MacDonald. In an age when women were supposed popularly to faint at the sight of a mouse, there is not one single recorded instance of Flora MacDonald ever shedding a tear. She just got on with it. She would have done fine on this stage last night with the women, I'll tell you. She would have done great. Okay, song's come. Here we go again. They breed like rabbits, you know. I mean, I'm the head of Scottish music at the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama, you know, and I refuse to let them play more than 2 at a time, you know. I just, you know what. Okay, here we go. I will try and bump it up, Travis, right? Okay. There's a moment of your story that has always haunted me. When you set out in your open boat to help a poor man flee, was Charlie Stewart's future already plain to see? Did you know he'd be a waster all his days? If you did, I'd give the world to think a single tear cry from the coolest day, the Carolinas. You showed us a wonder, the courage you could call from the tears that would not fall from your eyes. And after 30 years, after all that you've been through, was the thought of Bonnie Cherry just a memory to rue, as you watched your husband putting on his coat of scarlet hue to go and fight for German Geordie's crown? But you never tried to hide behind the dreams of days gone by, from the coolest day, the Carolinas. You showed us on and on the courage you could call from the tears that would not fall from your eyes. Sometimes I think I see you when I find the woman's face, where the flowers of independence has kept a woman's grace, where confidence and pride refuse to know the place, nor hide beneath the easy tricks of beauty. For to me, your life's a night to change across the stormy sky, from the cool stay, the Carolinas. You showed us one and all the courage you could call from the tears that would not fall from your eyes. From the coolest day, the Carolinas, the strong women rule us all with the courage that they call, when the tears refuse to fall from the night.